Hi guys, and welcome back to Chess of Blades. We're picking up right after the last episode. Oh boy. That's all I gotta say is just, oh boy. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Just oh boy. We continued to dine for a little while longer, the two men exchanging frequent jabs in between my forced attempts to mediate. Finally unable to say much more with this incredible awkwardness, I push out my chair and rise to my feet.
Well, it seems like they're opening the doors to the ballroom. I think I'll go catch a bit of fresh air before all that dancing starts.
AKA, I need a break. Not sticking around even to hear a reply, I quickly tossed my napkin on the chair and hastened toward the main hall. I need a break, man. Luckily, there are a few other people who've left the dining hall to chatter privately or stroll around, so I don't look too out of place.
Never again.
So much happened. So much. I have no idea how I got caught up in that situation, but it's certainly one I don't want to repeat. Those two are bad enough by themselves, yet somehow exponentially worse together. It's competition between those two. It's amazing. Finding my way to one of the back doors, I step out into the gardens and take a deep breath of the night air. The sounds of laughter and the clinking of silverware become distant, barely audible through the castle walls. There's an ornate stone bench nested among the hedges and fragrant I can pronounce my always. And fragrant bushes, so I lower myself onto with a soft sigh. I feel amazing. It feels amazing. My dining chair, however plush, turned out to provide a miserable experience, nesting me between an unstoppable force and immovable object. I clasp my hands behind my... I'm reading too fast. I talk too fast, I read too fast, my lips just go a million miles an hour. I clasp my hands behind my head and gaze up at the sky, where the almost full moon floats in a sea of stars. Stars. It looks so serene and peaceful, two words that don't seem to have any place in this bustling celebration. All the grandiose parties, yeah, I've been to with my family in the past weren't nearly as magnificent in scale. That's right, my family. They're out there somewhere. A smile gradually forms on my lips as I fondly wonder what they're doing right now. Father, mother, my little sister who's a few years older than Hazel is. If I have a family of my own someday, will they all get embroiled in these endless politics and quarrels? I think I'd rather have a quiet life in the countryside than be forced to keep dabbling in court affairs. And I'd never want my family to be in a situation like this.
Would I be able to give up fine wines and full days of just lazing around and reading, though? Rural life sounds like hard work.
It is. I live on a farm, I know. I pluck a rose from one of the bushes nearby, admiring the soft petal as I cup it in my hand, minding the thorns, of course. Arden, Linus, Franz. Isn't there another one? Is there only 3 boys? Wait, what? Never mind. No, there isn't. I didn't notice this guy! Ah! There's 4 boys! One I haven't met yet! They all seem so at home here, like they were born to be around bustling crowds and courtly intrigue. Could I ever be someone like that? Time to think. Do I want to be? A part of me is perfectly happy with how I am now, but another smaller part of me wants more. To dance, to charm others, to read politics as well as I used to read my favorite picture books as a little boy. But I really wonder if it's worth it, or if it'll ever happen. They say you could change yourself into what you really want to be if you try hard enough, but it feels like some part of myself is just immutable, a core part of who I am. Who am I? What am I? Well, an avid reader. The fuck is that? I like sweets. Of delicious sweets, the son of the best military strategist in our kingdom's history. I honestly don't know what that is. It's like somebody who likes sweets, I guess. And incidentally, still very much a Shut your mouth! Shut your mind! You are a virgin. Thanks for that little piece of information just to tie everything together. Nearby, a faint rustling sound startles me from my thoughts. That's creepy as all hell. If I strain my ears, I can barely hear the sound of whispering. Just like yesterday during the dance. Hello? Gritting my teeth in determination to find the mystery whisperer, I creep closer in the direction as quietly as I can.
Inside.
No, you back inside.
Let them hear.
What? A few phrases of discernible... are discernible, nah. But I can't really figure out what they're saying. But for some reason, ominous words echo in the back of my mind. Mark my words, something unpleasant is going to happen. You'll be dragged into it, whether you like it or not. A shiver runs down my spine and a cold tingle. What if this is what Franz was talking about? What if I... God, my lights flickered. No, I'm not dealing with that bullshit. A sudden tap comes at my shoulder and I whirl around fast enough to almost lose my balance.
Whoa,
Hey, dude.
calm down, Riv.
Oh, I gotta crack my back. You know when you're in school and you're sitting at your desk and you, like, twirl your back? You, like... What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what's the word? Not twirl. It's not spin. I'll think of it later. I'll just come out and say it suddenly. Rather than an assassin, the man who stands before me is... Arden.
What the hell are you doing here?
You...
No, shh. Don't answer that. Wait.
Held my finger to my lips and glared at Arden while straining my ears. The sound of whispering, however, is completely gone. Figures.
Riv? What is it? Why are you acting so strange?
Twist! Twist your back! Hell yeah.
Nothing.
I waved my hand dismissively, shaking my head. Maybe it's a good thing he came. After all, if those people really were up to
Is
something.
the dinner finished? There'll be a break before the dance, I assume.
Need to digest.
Probably. I doubt I can dance with all that fricassee in me. And I think my cheeks are swollen from being pinched so much.
I knew it!
Oh, by your swarm of aunts? I almost felt sorry for you.
Almost. Not quite there, though. His cheeks look a little pink. Arden nods a little sourly when I mention his fanatic female relatives, rubbing at the back of his neck with a hand.
I wanted to sit with you, but it didn't happen. I saw you with a couple of other gentlemen, though.
Yup. Arden, who was never good at hiding his curiosity, tilts his head in a manner obviously implying his interest. Oh, not you. No. There you go. It was horrible.
Yes, well, it was a rough meal. Let's leave it at that.
I see.
I've never seen him in a different pose, I'm just gonna say that. He looks a little disappointed at my lack of detail, but I've grown fairly immune to his innocent
You
expressions.
probably had it worse, though. I'm not envious at all.
Well, I'll avoid them next time. Hopefully.
Did his voice actor change, or am I just not used to his voice? He gives me a rather pointed look as if to provoke some response he's hoping for, but I willfully ignore him. You're mean. Taking a deep breath and smoothing my hair back with one hand, I start heading back toward the- You didn't even say oh. Motioning Arden to follow. Okay, I was like, you didn't even say bye. That is so rude. He quickly catches up to my side, distractedly gazing up at the stars.
Why were you out here anyway? Just for a walk?
I got spooked.
Yes, I was in dire need of some fresh air. Otherwise, I probably would have passed out like a maiden with her corset stretched too tight.
You've seen some movies.
How do girls even wear those things? I'd explode after a minute.
It's called sucking it in. The image of Arden in corset comes to my mind, and I find myself highly disturbed. Interesting. Interesting.
Yes. Well, anyway, what are you going to do until the dance starts?
Go try on some corsets? I question him as we step back inside the main hall, pausing as we pass the threshold.
Well, after you left the dining hall, we were told there was going to be some kind of announcement. I'll stick around to hear that. And afterwards, there might be time before the dance for me to go for a little jog.
A jog.
Jogging before dancing? You athletic freak of nature.
Yo, Rivian is me, though.
I hate feeling all full after a meal, you know. Need to work it off.
Yes, whatever you say.
Rivian does not give a shit about your athletic tendencies. As we head further into the main hall, I can see a number of guests have already left the dining room and returned here. If Arden's right, whatever announcement they have for us will probably be given in this hall. My eyes are suddenly drawn to the small figure standing amidst the crowd, talking with someone whose back is turned to me. That's the boy who knocked on my my door earlier, isn't it? Wonder if he's ever met up with Celeste. I saw her just before dinner, so perhaps the two of them had already spoken. Strange that he was so jumpy about it, though. Heaving a sigh, I eyed some of the guests for a few moments before glancing over to Arden, elbowing his side a bit.
Well, it looks like most of our fellow fine-blooded company has finished dining. This is a very casual affair, isn't it?
Arden nods in agreement, rubbing a hand thoughtfully on his cheek.
Most fancy galas tend to keep guests on a stricter watch or schedule. The king seems more interested in a relaxed atmosphere.
Maybe we're part of some grand social experiment. Like, you know, how long it takes noblemen to start throwing food fights or having sex in the closets.
You should talk. The sex scene I saw that I mentioned in the last episode happened in a closet, so yeah. You should talk, boy.
Closets?
Yep. Arden's shocked expression at my casual remark is in... Oh. Sorry, I was just laughing because I'm just remembering it's like... Oh boy. Arden's shocked expression at my casual remark is priceless. Really, hasn't he heard the worst in the guard forces? It's a bunch of rowdy young men, for crying out loud.
Anyway,
Horny
look,
young
it's
men.
that fellow who read the schedule of festivities last night up on the balcony. Is he going to give his announcement up there?
I don't know. I squint up at the man's shape, as well as the scroll in his hand. Seems pretty obvious. The elegantly dressed crowd goes gradually quiet as all of our eyes focus on the top of the second floor balcony. There's a bit of antsy shuffling as a few folks probably drank too much wine and are in desperate need to visit the nearest chamber pot. The loo. Clearing his throat, the announcer inhales deeply and begins to read.
Ladies and gentlemen, refined guests, we hope you have enjoyed His Highness's grand celebration so far.
Indeed.
Tomorrow the festival will continue with new games and attractions, and it is His Majesty's sincere wish for you to delight in them all. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce a highly esteemed guest of honor who...
Halfway through a sentence, the man reading the announcement suddenly cuts off. A servant who had just hurried up to his side whispers something in his ear, and I can tell from the announcer's widened eyes that something's happened. I'm spooked.
Hey, is this something set up as part of the event?
Somebody die.
Who's the guest? Who's the guest? I wanted to know so badly.
Murmuring breaks out through the crowd, impatient and curious whispers flitting around. Well, now I'm curious too, damn it! Must be something rather serious for him to just go silent like that. What happened?
Why, Arden, what do you think is... Huh?
Arden's gone, isn't he? When I glance over to where Arden was, I find a significant lack of Arden standing there now. He was never exactly one to be stealthy. Did he have an answer to... Did he have to answer nature's call outside or something? He had plenty of time to do that earlier.
It is my regret to announce that, due to unforeseen
dead?
circumstances, our guest will not be presented tonight.
Are they dead?
Hmm?
What? The uneasy voice of the announcer slices through the whispers pervading the room.
A small issue has arisen that His Majesty's men are currently attending to. We ask that all guests remain calm, as everything will be resolved by
He's dead.
morning. During this while, please continue to enjoy the remaining festivities and report any suspicious
He's
behavior
dead.
to the guards.
Oh no. I don't even know who he is. Finishing his announcement, he bows respectfully and disappears further beyond the balcony, leaving behind a haze of confusion and curiosity.
Well, I suppose we'll just retire for the night.
I hope they didn't cancel the dance. I wanted to try dancing in my new shoes.
That are 6 inches high! The idle chatter resumes to normal level amongst the guests, although a faint sense of uncertainty seems to hang over everything like a storm cloud.
What on earth was that all about, I wonder?
I don't know. Baffled, I shake my head and start to turn around to look for Arden.
Excuse me, sir.
You're spooky. A heavy hand suddenly firmly clamps down on my shoulder. It belongs to an armed armored guard in front of me, standing to block my path.
I'm afraid you'll need to come with me, sir.
What did I do?
I beg your pardon, what's the meaning of this?
Adjusting his posture rather stiffly, the guard motioned silently for me to walk towards the stairs. Is this my imagination, or is he treating me like I've done something wrong? I have quite the bad feeling about this. Deciding it's in my best... I can't read suddenly. Deciding it's in my best interest to cooperate rather than cause a fuss, I head up the staircase, trying to ignore the questioning gazes sent my way by some of the other guests. Hopefully, a vicious rumor decrying me as some sort of debased criminal doesn't start spreading during my absence. Damn nobles are like vultures around a carcass when it comes to calling each other out. When we reach the guest hall corridor, the guard, who was following closely behind me, quickly curls his gauntleted fingers around my arm. I spaced out.
Careful now, no need to leave bruises. When are you going to tell me why exactly I'm being taken to the naughty corner?
This is your naughty corner.
There has been an incident, sir, and you are under suspicion for involvement.
The fuck did I do? What?
Incident? You mean what the announcement was about just now? Well, clearly I had an established alibi during...
Hello? Ignoring my objections, the guard pulls me forward down the hallway, this time far less gently than before. Well, now I'm definitely have a bad feeling about this. How on earth did I even get involved in this in the first place? I was just minding my own damn business! I was a good boy! The room we arrive at is a few halls down from mine. One hand still firmly grasping my arm, the guard wraps his knuckles around the door, eyeing me not too subtly from the side all the while.
Sir, I brought one of the suspects.
One of the suspects. Bloody disgrace.
As I gripe quietly to myself, trying to swallow my budding panic, the door suddenly opens.
It's about time. Varys!
Hello! The astonished, bespectacled face of the Inquisitor appears before me. I just saw him at the dinner table. He must have been called out as soon as I left.
Linnaeus?
Linnaeus!
You're the one I'm being taken to? Oh,
Linnaeus!
goodness. You can extract me from this mess, right?
Linnaeus is your name! I will never forget it. I will never forget Linnaeus. Never. I will never forget your name. It is now engraved in my mind. What did he say? I didn't listen. So, Linnaeus, haha! Linnaeus' hesitant silence dashes my budding hope of a quick end to whatever I've been caught up in. His eyes narrow somewhat sharply at me, growing slightly chilly, although a dubious expression remains on his face.
Well, if you've been implicated as a suspect, it's my duty to detain you, regardless of our acquaintanceship.
Do anything. But
Bring
I
him
didn't do
inside.
anything. I swear. I swear. I didn't do anything. I was a good boy the entire time.
I grind my teeth together at his dismissive response, which the guard obeys, pushing me into the half office, half bedroom that is presumably Linnaeus. Oh my god, did I forget? Wait. Linnaeus. It's Linnaeus. Quarters. The fuck are you doing here? Sitting in a chair in the corner is a small young man, huddled with his knees pulled up against his chest. Wait a second, haven't I seen him before? Huh? Alright, it's the kid who knocked on my door earlier. What is he doing here, though?
That's him, I think.
Boy, I'm gonna smack you to Texas! What did you say? He gives me a guilty look, quickly glancing away and hugging himself protectively. I'm gonna smack you. I'm gonna smack you next Tuesday. Your fucking kids are gonna feel it!
I see. Well, Rivian, it seems Alistair here is quite convinced you were out in the gardens when tonight's incident took place.
Yes, I
So-
was thinking about my virginity!
Wait a damn moment. What is this incident you all keep talking about? Give a man some details before you start accusing him of things he didn't do.
Well... Linnaeus, right? Pauses, giving me a long, scrutinizing look before continuing.
Tonight, a man was murdered on the castle
Oh
grounds.
yeah, I know that, but... The cold sensation tingles down my spine. So something really did happen after all.
His body was found in the gardens after the dinner, and as a result, Everyone who was in the surrounding area at that time is potentially involved in the affair.
He pushes his glasses in a matter-of-fact manner and punctuates his words, then glances toward the boy on the chair.
This young man here was within sight of the garden exit in the main hall during that period, and informed us of the individuals he saw passing through the door in that time frame. And you happen to be one of them.
Do I look like the person who would kill somebody? Seriously?
That's ridiculous. Besides, Arden was with me in the gardens. He can tell you quite plainly that I wasn't going around stabbing my dinner fork into anyone out there.
I'm afraid Arden has been called to active duty for protecting the king at this time, so reaching him will be quite difficult. You'll have to be taken to a guarded area for further questioning in the meantime.
Literally, what else can you ask me? I was in the garden, I was with a redhead, and then I left. I growl under my breath in frustration, squirming in the guard's firm grip, but he still has me? There has to be something I can do to get out of the situation. A guarded area is probably the safest place to be with a murderer on the loose, but I refuse to be locked up for something I'm not guilty of. Hello? Oh, get rid of this. There we go. Just as the armored man starts to pull me toward the door, a knock suddenly echoes from it. The guard abruptly jerks in surprise, shooting a quick glance toward Linnaeus. Linnaeus! Right through his helmet. I'm gonna have to study his name.
Don't just stare, fool. The door isn't about to open itself.
Yes, sir.
He reaches out with his gauntlet with his hand to hesitantly turn the knob. I have to say, is awfully tentative for someone wearing so much armor. I can't see who is standing at the door since the bulky guard is blocking my view, but he doesn't appear to have been stabbed, so I'm assuming it's not the murderer.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you mind if I barge in on this chat for a moment? I think I can offer some help with this nasty situation.
Is that who I think it is? The guard hesitates for a moment, then nods. The visitor slides past him.
Franz?
Hello?
Why are you here?
To save the babe. Chuckling a little at our startled faces, the tall man dips slightly forward in a mocking bow towards us.
Don't you two know how to make a man feel welcome? It's a bit cramped in here, isn't it?
My head is itchy. Oh, whoa. I need to cut my fucking hair. His eyes roaming across the room, Franz pauses to study Alistair for a moment, who nervously shifts a little under his intense gaze.
I don't recall asking you for an interior space evaluation. What is your purpose in contaminating my chambers?
Contaminating? While the two of them offer each other challenging glares, I glance out of the corner of my eye at the door. It's open, and the guard seems distracted by Franz at a potential threat. I could try to make a run for it, although I doubt I'd get very far.
What a rude way of phrasing things. But to answer your question, I'm here to get my kitten off the hook.
Suddenly reaching out towards me, Franz curls an arm around my waist and pulls me nonchalantly up against his side. Hey, I got protection! Fight me!
And hand me, you blasted... Wait, did you say you were getting me off the hook?
Don't insult him. He's helping you.
Before I ask how exactly you intend to do that, I'm curious as to how you were even aware of this investigation in the first place.
That was a big ol' yawn. I forgot his name. I'll study his name later. I'll spell it out. I'll do a sound thing or whatever. He raises an eyebrow suspiciously, staring at Franz with an unmasked distaste. For some reason, his name just will not stick with me.
Well,
I don't know why.
I saw the little blonde here being carted off by the guard in the main hall. So I followed them. It was
He
clear
loves me
enough
so
he had
much.
gotten himself into some kind of trouble.
I feel like he loves me so much. He just wants to protect me. As he speaks, Franz squeezes my hip as casually as someone embracing a longtime lover. I'm starting to think I'd almost rather be taken to a cell than put up with this harassment.
I see. In that case, are you able to confirm his whereabouts from the period between the end of the banquet and the announcement in the main hall?
Big ol' yawns from me. Franz nods confidently, lips curled into a winning smirk.
Of course. You were there too, Glasses. You saw me follow him after he left the table. I was keeping an eye on him when he went to the gardens.
Why though?
You followed me? What is wrong with you, you thick-headed perv?
That may be so, but I have little evidence that your words are trustworthy. Your presence in the gardens at that time also implicates you in this matter.
Interrupting my complaint sharply, he drums his fingers on his forehead, returning Franz's smile with a derisive curl of his lip. Whew. Franz, however, doesn't seem to be fazed by his retort. In fact, if anything, his tone only grows more confident and firm.
It just so happens that a guard was with me at the time. I specifically requested his presence in case someone tried to jump the kitten outside. But it seems someone else got jumped instead. But my point is, unless you're going to start accusing your own guards of murder conspiracies, you can confirm my statement with him. The boy's innocent.
Boy? I'm a boy now? His unhurried words come to a finish, and Franz turned his head a little to glance down at me, squeezing a little lower down my hip. Hey, that's my butt! Don't touch my butt! This time, though, I feel too shocked to even protest. Was Franz actually watching me all that time? Did he really know something was going to happen? Oof. He doesn't seem to be lying, and he's unflinching at the slightest, even beneath his icy, skeptical gaze. I can't even believe it. He must have been telling the truth when we met outside the balcony last night. Some serious things are in motion now, and I've been caught up in them. But how did he know?
Very well, then.
For a moment, he gives me a long look, one that seems less accusing and more like some kind of warning. Is he trying to tell me something? Use your words!
If you could refrain from wasting my time any further, please leave my chambers so that I can return to my investigation.
Well, then do it! Damn! Bring me in it. He turns his back on us to face Alistair once more, to which the boy stares at him wide-eyed. Come here, boy, I got something to tell you.
Come on, kitten. Let's give Glasses and his poor victim over there some privacy.
Oh, the music skipped. Grabbing my hand, Franz pulls me past somewhat dumbfounded guard and into the hall, closing the door behind us.
What in the...
Shh. Not yet.
What? With a surprisingly serious frown, Franz leads me down the hall in the direction of an adjacent room. A feeling of relief washes over me at being taken out of the situation, although there's so many new questions piling up on my plate that I don't know where to start. It's difficult to resist the urge to start asking Franz about what just happened, but his fruitive demeanor makes me feel like I should hold my tongue for the moment. I'm gonna end this episode here, because I'm all sleepy now. That got me all sleepy. I'm ready for bed. Oh, I can't wait to get under my covers and be glad that I'm not Rivian. I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.